My plans are...
You ready? Call to order the regular common council meeting, Monday, July 10th, 7:19 p.m. Roll call.
Fry,
Present.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson. Here. Walnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis.
Yes.
Next item is Pledge of Allegiance. Confirmation of appropriate meeting notice.
Meeting was noticed on Friday, July 7th. Agenda is posted at the Post Office, Library, and City Hall.
Council acceptance of the agenda.
Motion to accept agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Personal appearances. Anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on anything that's not on the agenda tonight? Okay. We'll move on to the minutes from June 19th.
Motion to approve minutes from June 19th.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item is to consider the approval of the June 26th Joint Council and RDA meeting minutes.
Motion to approve June 26th Joint Council and RDA meeting minutes.
Second.
Any corrections or additions on those? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Committee reports and finance.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to approve a pay request number 3 from RT Fox for Highland and Park in the amount of $66,474.24.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
They did a good job up there.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve a pay request number 3 from G Fox for Lawton Street in the amount of $28,064.22.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson. Yes. Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve pay request number 4 from RT Fox for the Business Park Phase 3 in the amount of $47,799.89.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson. Yes. Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve bills and payroll in the amount of $391,929.93.
Second.
Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson. Yes. Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve an operator's license for Mackenzie Terrell.
I'll second.
Okay, did everybody see the file? Does anybody need to see that? Any discussion here, or Mackenzie, have anything to say?
Where are you going to bartend at?
The Town Country Club.
All right. Is this your first bartending job?
Yep.
Check those IDs.
Fine form is,
I will not approve if somebody's been charged with serving underage, so be careful with that.
she means it too. She's mean. That's it.
No, she came forward. Yeah.
It was just the one underage you had on there? And do they still have a program you can go through to get that taken off your record? Did that go away?
Yeah, I did go through that, and it should be taken off on like the 22nd of July.
Okay. I didn't know if that was something they still used or not. But
That's through the courts, I don't know.
would it still show up on there then? That if they've been through that program?
Well, program just, it generally lowers your fine versus make it go away. Doesn't have
I had somebody that close to home that went through it, so, not me,
Yeah, how close?
because they didn't have it back then.
Yeah,
Besides, back then, you could be 18 and,
yeah, back then it was 18.
but, yeah.
What's that like?
I didn't know if it was still something that they offered or not. So.
I'm ready to vote. Yep, gotcha.
Okay, any further discussion on license for Mackenzie Terrell? Hearing none, roll call.
Walnuts,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Good to go. All right,
yeah.
moving on here, an operator's license for Joseph Mickelson was forwarded to council without recommendation, so we left that up for more discussion here.
Mr. Mickelson, did you enroll in the same program as the young lady sitting next to you?
I didn't have the option for my second one. The first one ended up in Brown County, so I would have had to do that course up there. So I didn't have to call that.
Okay.
So I had to drive all the way out there.
Okay. Okay.
Did you say you went to school and lived in Green Bay?
No, I was visiting a buddy out
Okay.
there. I lived in Whitewater for
All right.
last year.
Yeah, and the second one, they wouldn't give you an opportunity to go through the program on that anyhow, so.
So, if I'm reading this correctly, you had 2 underage citations yourself?
Yes.
And you're 20 years old now? And I'm just curious to hear about what your thoughts are on that. I mean,
Obviously, I feel bad that it happened. Both times the first time, I guess all I can say is, I'm sorry that it happened, and I know that I wasn't going to let it happen again. I wasn't going to drink after the second one. I'm taking my job serious as it is right now. I do everyone under the age of 40,
Can I see that?
I mean, I don't know what else to say.
okay, I mean, because you do understand that now, it's not just a matter of what you do, you're going to be in a position, a responsibility
Yeah,
to uphold the law that you, in my opinion, take too seriously recently. That's just my concern. That's, not, it's going to be your responsibility to the people of Edgerton and also your employer that you are pretty strict with this, and then just want you to understand that.
yeah, like I said, I've been working there now for almost 4 weeks, and I take it very serious. I'm upholding all the laws that I have to follow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the vote's going to go, but just the tolerance for that is very low here, so I just want to let you know.
Where are you working at now?
Candy Liquor.
Oh, okay.
Is this
Have you been operating already without a license there?
Yes, but I've been working with,
Somebody that has one, okay.
there's always someone there with me.
Well, I'll take just a quick look, Chris, thank you. Just give me some, thank you.
Is there a motion on the floor?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make a motion based on the fact this does not pertain to you distributing or selling to minors. You do not have a previous record of violating the law in a retail capacity. This was for personal use, underage. I'll make a motion to grant you your license with some trepidations, but I'm going to make that motion.
I will second that, considering that he's working in a retail business selling closed alcohol and not serving alcoholic drinks.
Yep, and I have a lot of respect for Gina. She's a very nice person, and so I just ask that if we do this, that you really take her into consideration. She's a very hard-working lady and has a family and stuff, so it reflects on her.
Just for my own information, they can serve anywhere, right, in Edgerton?
Correct.
Yeah,
Once
so
you
that
issue
doesn't-
a
oh, so
it
license, it's
doesn't-
not for one establishment, it's anywhere, so he could be a
So it
bartender
is transferable?
also.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call.
Fry,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Wellnitz,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Abstain.
Motion passes 5-0 with one abstention.
All right.
You're welcome.
Card. Everybody.
Moving on here, motion to approve a public event packet for the Edgerton Tobacco Heritage Days, extend park hours until midnight, waive fees, except for half of police overtime on Friday and Saturday nights, and bill tobacco days for half of actual costs.
And pending their
And
three. Okay.
not close the concession stand pending payment.
Thank you. I'll second that.
Okay, discussion? I know there was talk at the finance about closing the concession stand. She would probably close it after the ball games are over anyhow, so that would be...
yes.
She's scheduled to stay open until 10, so she thought on Saturday night, maybe 8 would be the earliest. That might not be, an issue, because there's games that started with 7 or 8 that night.
Oh, and there's Little League games too in the evening, early evenings, yeah.
Are they talking about only the concession stand out in the ball fields there?
Yeah.
That's the only one we
Not-
control.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Wellnitz,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve a temporary Class B license for Edgerton Tobacco Heritage Committee on July 14th through the 16th.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Wellnitz,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve accurate appraisal contract for assessment services.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Wellnitz,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to recommend adoption of Resolution 15-7 to 15-17 to waive owed personal property taxes and to not publish the businesses in the newspaper.
I'll second.
Okay, did I hear waive?
Approving the write-off.
Right.
Approve a write-off, excuse me.
That would be a little different, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we can do that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Wellens,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Abstain.
McIntyre.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0 with one abstention.
Motion to approve the purchase of a Dussel sandblaster for the DPW from MMLJ Incorporated in the amount of $10,180.
I'll second.
Okay, and that includes the 2 pallets of blasting materials, so. Okay. Any other discussion?
I'm new to this type of thing, but Tom, for you to think in that way, I give you a lot of credit, really I do. To think about the trucks, them V-boxes, how the salt tears all that stuff apart, and hopefully this works, and how you mentioned the Public Works Committee, I think it'd be a really good thing.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Wellens,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve the development agreement with the Reinhardt Properties for the Lawton Street project.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have something to bring up. A couple of things have come to my attention. I visited with the Rock County Planning Department about a week or so ago. I was provided with some aerial views from 1950, and they show a large building located on the parcel at 121 West Lawton Street. And I have one set of these pictures available here. One is an aerial view without boundary lines. One is an aerial view with the boundary lines. In addition to the large building that is on that parcel, located directly behind that parcel is a pond. I'd like to pass these around for everyone to look at. So number one, I'd like to ask that there be an environmental study on that parcel based on the fact that there was a large building there located previously in the 40s and into 1950, and I don't know when that was demolished. Also, a week or two ago, I put in a call to the DNR, and my phone call was returned today. A lady I spoke with named Wendy Peach, or Pike, not sure how to pronounce her last name. She indicated to me that, and I have copies of these for everyone, and if you could please pass these down, and I'm sorry because of my broken leg, if you wouldn't mind giving Mr. and Mrs. Reinhardt a copy also.
I'd love to.
The DNR has indicated that this is a wetland area, and she has given me permission to convey all of her thoughts on this and links that she has given me on here. And it indicates that wetlands are regulated by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Wisconsin DNR, and local county, cities, and villages. The excavating or placement of any material in low areas or wetlands just requires a DNR permit. The DNR has both general permits and individual permits available. However, the DNR reviews your project to determine if it complies with the requirements of Section 281.36 Wisconsin statutes and NR 299 and NR 103, Wisconsin Administrative Code. State and federal regulations require avoidance of wetland fill if possible. So in your application, you will need to demonstrate that you cannot avoid or reduce wetland impacts and that your project will not have significant adverse impacts on wetland functions and values. See attached practical and alternatives analysis. Given that you have now been informed that that wetlands exist on the site that you have not yet purchased, we don't know if you've purchased it yet or not, but she indicated that. An avoid alternative exists since you can purchase another property and/or reduce the development size to avoid wetland impact. And so therefore, I would like to request that the appropriate findings and DNR resources are inquired within, and that all the appropriate, whatever they need to do, I guess the appropriate, what do I want to say? That they comply with all the DNR regulations before we go any farther with this issue.
So were you saying at one of our last meetings that you had a study done, or what? How did that go? Environmental study or, no?
It's up to the landowner whether they want to do an environmental study. The city wouldn't require it.
No, but I thought on another development.
I did a phase 2 on the big warehouse project.
Okay.
And that has a radius.
Yes, the radius.
Considers any data, any information, past hazards, and it comes up on that report. Nothing came with it.
And this was included in that radius?
Yes.
So I wonder why would there be a conflict between that and what?
She's not saying, she wants a study done based on, because there was a building there, that doesn't mean there's any environmental contamination there.
Oh, okay. I see. Thank you.
Phase 2 that I did on the big warehouse, that's part of it. It considers a radius, and anything that is an environmental problem in that radius comes up on the report.
Would a wetland come up on that report if there were a wetland?
No. But we've talked with, my recollection, and I'm going on memory, which is a little dangerous, is we had this conversation with the DNR, and I have an email about it. So
Okay.
if you're inclined to approve it, you may be, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, make it a condition that all wetland regulations are complied with.
If we were going to do that, I would do it in 1.4, modify that. We have developer will obtain state and local permits. We probably make a special reference to any required DNR permits, including wetland delineation requirements. That's how I'd probably phrase it.
What is radius that you?
I don't recall exactly what the radius, but it covered all of Vernal's property radius on over towards the
City
pond or such, past that.
You know the distance between the warehouse and this lot?
Yeah, it falls within that same outer radius as Vernal's property would, the west end of Vernal's property. I know that was all in there. The radius from the warehouse apartment development.
So Bill, if you could repeat, you would suggest including that under the Plan Commission Report 1.4?
Well, there were two issues raised. One was the potential wetland issue and a delineation of the wetlands, and then compliance with any DNR requirements as a result of delineation. That was issue number one. I suggested that we add a requirement to 1.4 that the developer, in addition to obtaining all state and local permits, perform a delineation and secure any necessary permits as a result of that delineation. Maybe a delineation shows that there is no need for wetland permits. I don't know. Phil, go ahead.
In the last discussion, we talked about this. This land has a very big back area. That very big back area falls off. That's the wetland area. The area by the improved house on one of the lots is much higher.
And again, delineation may show that the area of the construction is not going to be impacted by wetlands.
The lot goes very deep into a swampy area, absolutely. But that's an area that we're not going to be touching at all.
I actually walked that not too long ago, and it's not too many feet behind the current house that's located there. When you get to the tree line, and just about 5 or 10, within 10 feet of the tree line, there's standing water.
If you take a look at that behind that house, if you follow it back, there is a swampy area. Mm-hmm. We're not touching that. That's not the area that we're looking at. We're looking at the large field to the side of it, right here.
And that's where the creamery was located in the 1940s and 50s.
Right, and if anything environmental was happened there, it would have come up on the
But
face too.
where I walked was just past that first tree into that tree line.
We're not developing back there, we're
You're
developing.
not. How can you fit 4 units in there? Quick, that jam-packed area.
I think the issue is, we're not going to resolve where the wetland is or isn't within this, so I think you either don't approve it or approve it with a condition that he comply with all wetland regulations.
Okay.
Yeah, you just go, what Bill said follow through on that. And
Yes.
And we do already have stormwater, so it does make some sense to comply with any wetland regulations. That can either go in 1.4 or 1.9.
Got it.
Okay. So there's a motion on the table here. I guess my question is, where are you?
It goes
what are
in the
you
plan.
thinking?
There would need to be a motion to amend the proposed agreement. We'd have to vote on that amendment, and then we could vote on the amended.
And I understand that, but I just want to get Dan's opinion on what he thinks of this going forward. I mean, do you feel that's necessary to go and get a DNR permit or to have them evaluate the property? I mean, I don't.
In looking at the elevation of the property, I don't think it's needed, not with the elevation in the area of development, and considering that this actually is quite a large lot in the back area, it opens up more, that's a swampy area. That's not even touched, it's the front area.
All right.
That's more elevated, and there's a stormwater plan that has been written up and worked on with the city engineer, and everybody's in agreement on that.
All right.
The engineer as well as our engineer as well as the city engineer.
The lady that I spoke with at the DNR today, her name was Wendy, she said there's 2 things that they consider. One is the impact on the wetland. This would include the discharge of fill into the wetlands. It could include such things as stump removal. There's a whole list of things.
We're not touching it, and we're not pushing fill into there either.
Again, the
One of the
issue isn't
recommendations
whether,
from staff was to remove the trees in the back because there would be too much fill in there that they would die out.
the trees that are on the property line.
Yeah, that's what it was in one of the
Do you have the air
recommendations.
photo?
And another thing she said was they consider the hydrology, the hydric soil layer, and see how much it's saturated, and this is mapped out by the USDA.
Right.
And when
all
she
wetland
went
delineation.
and looked on that, we all have a map here, and it does show the wetland indicators. And she indicated to me that there were several red flags here that should be addressed.
I'm going to take, and I'm going to leave my motion as is, and I'm going to leave it as is and see where it goes.
Dan, just a quick question. You're not doing a stormwater detention basin on site, right?
Correct.
Okay, so the stormwater plan is to manage it off-site?
Yes.
So there was 2 motions. Mark
No,
made a
I
motion.
don't know if there's not been a motion made. The original, well, there's been a motion made. It was the original motion to approve the development agreement.
Okay, gotcha.
If someone wishes to make a motion to modify the development agreement, this would be the appropriate time.
I'd like to make a motion to modify the development agreement contingent on the proper certification from the DNR, the Wisconsin DNR. And I would also like to make a motion that there's an environmental study done of this property.
There's already a motion and a second that has not been voted on.
Well, this is a motion to amend, as I understand it.
Yeah.
That's how I interpreted it, Mark.
A motion to amend my motion or a motion to amend the
Motion to amend the
motion.
development
Yeah.
agreement as presented, which was your
I'll second
motion.
it for the discussion.
I think it's appropriate to make a motion to amend the development agreement. If that fails, we go on to your motion. If it succeeds,
Okay, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
grasp the order we're doing this in. So
Right.
her motion is not to amend my motion, it's to amend the agreement.
that is my
And
interpretation.
it's allowed to be done that way?
Yes.
So we have the amended motion and a second. So does this, will this delay, what's the timing of something like this?
Well,
Nothing would delay it. In regard to environmental studies, take a while. And in this case where a red flag would have been put up on another study, it just seems a little redundant at this point. The fact that there's a stormwater engineer agreement
Yeah.
between our engineer and the city's engineer, and we're not changing the way that the water would flow off the
You're not
property.
doing anything with that area.
No.
Okay.
The water would flow as is, untouched.
Okay.
Read that motion again, Tanya.
Well, I need more clarification on the motion.
So do we have two motions, or do we have an original motion that's been amended?
Yeah, right. What was it?
That's what I'm asking.
I understand Alder Olson's motion to amend the development agreement to include two requirements, and I do think we need some clarification of what those are, but at least the one is to require that the property owner secure any necessary DNR permits related to wetlands. And the second requirement, as I understood it, was that there be a Phase 1 study of the property. As to that, I will simply throw out there, I'm not certain that Mr. Reinhardt can do a Phase 1 because he doesn't own the property. He's going to need at least the approval of the landowner to do a Phase 1 of it. He could probably do a Phase 1. He's not going to be able to do a Phase 2 without the approval of the landowner.
My question is here is, again, I'm kind of hung up on this. I'm no Robert's Rules of Order professional, but I don't see how she can make a motion to amend an agreement that I have a motion on to approve that agreement without me approving it or without it being approved or denied.
It is like amending an ordinance. Say we made a motion to approve a new ordinance and someone says, I want this provision added to the ordinance. I make a motion that we amend the ordinance as presented to include provision C and recites that. This is functionally no different than that. So you've made a motion to, you've presented the agreement. You're asking that the council accept the agreement. Alder Olson is asking that the agreement be modified in two respects.
And you can vote however all you want.
So then you would first vote on the amendment to the motion.
Right, and I understand that. I do recall now having done stuff that way in the past, but
Then we go to yours.
Normally, we don't amend proposed agreements, but it's functionally no different than amending an ordinance.
Do we need to note where the amendment will be? Did you want it in 1.4?
Well, I'd like some specificity as to what exactly we're requesting so that I can put the intention in there. My suggestion, at least as to the wetland issue, was in section 1.4. The Phase 1, Phase 2, again, I simply call out that they are maybe problematic for the developer to comply with because he does not at this time own the property. Phase 1 I can see getting done, but Phase 2 I don't know that without the willing cooperation of the current owner. And I suspect that Mr. Reinhardt doesn't wish to purchase the property and then do a Phase 2 and then find out that he has.
I'm comfortable with the information I have on it environmentally.
Okay.
And does the motion for the environmental study include Phase 1 and Phase 2? That wasn't...
Question for you.
I believe that,
If a Phase 1 determines nothing's there, you don't need a Phase 2.
yeah, exactly. I think if the Phase 1 determines it's okay, then I don't think we need to proceed. But if there's a question on the Phase 1, then I think then we should proceed with Phase 2.
So you're requiring a Phase 2 within your motion, if it's needed?
If the Phase 1 determines that Phase 2
Okay.
would be needed.
Our risk as a city is if we invest in the project and there's a project cost overrun due to environmental, something that's found. So we're trying to protect the city's interest. Dan Reinhardt has taken his risk in purchasing a property with or without a Phase 2. So it seems to me that the language in the agreement would say that Dan comply with all environmental regulations, and that, again, would cover our interests, correct, Bill? He's required to comply with those rules. We don't enforce environmental laws.
That's true. That is correct.
right, and that's where I feel I think we're kind of, by going forward with changing that agreement, then I feel like we're kind of getting into an area that we don't belong as far as enforcing Dan to do
Well, I guess as to the DNR, one could argue that it's already required under 1.4, but it is not unusual to call attention to particular areas of concern by saying, in addition to other local rules and regulations, you must comply with any DNR regulations. It's not saying that there is something to comply with, it's just saying you must comply with it. I'm not offended in terms of drafting that be included. If I'd been asked beforehand, I probably would have included it.
I personally think that this development will probably go forward, but with just a little extra, I hear what Dan's saying, but I grew up in this town too. I think it's okay over there, but man, I see enough crap filled and enough properties in town to fill up a book, especially when I was mayor 20 years ago. I saw it happen. And I'm not saying it's happening here at all, but it doesn't hurt to do a phase one. And Dan's a very good intellectual, astute person. I have my trust in this guy. I do.
But the phase one is going to say that there was a building there, and then the phase one's going to require a phase two. So I guess what's the point? As long as the city's interests are protected, that's what our goal is, right?
Anyways, that's my viewpoint on it.
And I guess...
We got close to $300,000 into it. It doesn't hurt to do this,
Yeah, I guess...
I mean, I'm not even against it, don't get wrong. I don't know, it just got brought up all of a sudden, it just makes me think, it's like, I don't know, Dan, if it makes you push a little bit further, I don't know. I don't want to...
I guess what I need to hear from you is if you feel comfortable with the studies you've had done and that you're not touching the wetland. If you're saying those things, I'm comfortable with that.
Can he present those to us then?
Well, he just said that he didn't. We're not, yeah.
I'm just, would we be able to see these studies? Have you? Okay,
Yeah.
you're verbally presenting them, but
Right.
could we see it in the writing?
We
Or have
have
we? Okay.
the engineer.
The report.
And there was some variations that he proposed.
And that's all been agreed upon and
Okay.
discussed with the city engineer.
Is it possible to see that phase study you did years ago on the big building, Dan? Yeah.
We've got a phase two done right across the street.
You have a
Yes.
issue on the one across the street, too, and that would be within the radius for sure.
There is a motion to amend that's been made and seconded. We have to dispose of that before we move on.
Any more discussion on the amendment to the developer agreement?
I'm going to be voting, I don't know how the council is, but before we vote, we can say how we're going to vote. I'm going to vote for this amendment only because of the 1 gazillions percent that there's something there, and I have told Trustin Dan, I don't know if this will pass, I can see some faces here that probably won't, but my vote for going through this, Dan, has nothing to do with the project. I just want to let you know my feeling on it.
I appreciate that.
You bet.
I'd also like to say that the data that exists, that the city has within phase reports within the city, as well as the ones that I have to, which don't indicate anything there.
Right.
We're not doing anything with the back wetlands. I think we're being a little redundant getting into an area here that's going to slow things down unnecessarily. And in life, you could add what ifs to anything, but I think these what ifs have been answered.
Well, the second part of my motion clearly relies on this map that was provided to me by the DNR today, and it does clearly indicate that the whole area that you're proposing to build in is a wetland.
It's wetland indicators,
Wetland indicators.
not a wetland. There's hydric soils, there's wetland indicators, are different things than wetlands. So, again, as long as the city's interest is covered in making sure that Dan complies with the DNR regulations for wetlands, that's what our interest is in protecting.
Correct, and that's what I want to make sure that happens.
I'm going to make a motion to call the question.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call on the motion to call the question.
Wellness,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Olson,
No.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Abstain.
McIntyre.
I'll vote yes to call the question, yes.
Motion passes.
What was your vote?
It was a yes.
Abstain, Fry?
Correct.
No, I didn't hear what McIntyre voted.
You voted yes to call the question.
Okay,
It's just to make a vote.
and now, quick read back on the motion, and then roll call on that.
So the motion is to amend the main motion for approving the development agreement to add language to section 1.4 that developers secure any needed wetland DNR permits and require a phase 1 and if needed a phase 2 environmental study.
Roll call, please.
Olson?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
No.
Wellnuts?
No.
Paul Davis?
No.
Fry?
Abstain.
Motion fails.
Okay, now I'll go back to original motion.
And now, unless somebody wants to bring something else up, we have a
Well,
motion.
don't we have to go back
Right,
to
we-
Mark's?
I-
Okay.
That's correct. I think that's what the mayor was saying,
Oh.
unless there's some other motion to
sorry.
amend.
Okay.
We are back on the main motion.
To approve the development agreement as is.
Yes.
Correct.
No further discussion? Roll call.
Wellnuts?
Yes.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Olson?
No.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Abstain.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1, one abstention.
That's all I have for finance.
Thank you.
Holy Toledo.
That it.
Utility Commission.
I'm sorry. Motion to approve second reading adopting City of Edgerton Ordinance 17-07, amending chapters 12 and 13 to incorporate the utility leakage credit policy into the ordinances.
Second.
Oh,
Get one of them seconds?
Yep.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Wellnuts?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
McIntyre?
yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And that's it for utility.
Thank you. Plan Commission.
I'll go forward with it. Motion to approve preliminary certified survey to create one lot by combining two lots at 119 and 121 West Lawton Street.
With conditions?
I'm sorry, with the staff recommendation, or with conditions.
With the Plan Commission's conditions?
Oh, with the Plan Commission's conditions, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's what we did at Plan Commission, yes.
For a second.
I'll second.
Your discussion. Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Wellnuts?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Abstain.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Olson?
No.
Motion passes 4-1, one abstention.
Okay. Motion to adopt City of Edgerton Resolution 16-17, approve the final certified survey to create one lot by combining two lots at 119 and 121 West Lawton Street. And is that with the...
They're already incorporated.
They're in there. Okay, good.
I respect it.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Wellnuts?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Abstain.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Olson?
No.
Motion passes 4-1-1.
Motion to approve the first reading of City of Ordinance 17-08, rezoning the properties at 119 and 121 West Lawton from R2 to R4.
Second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis?
Yes.
Wellnuts?
Yes.
Paul Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Abstain.
McIntyre?
Abstain.
Olson?
No.
It should pass 3-1 with 2 abstentions.
Correct.
Okay, moving on. Motion to approve the first reading of City of Edgerton Ordinance 1709, amending Section 22.3045Y outdoor premises.
Andy, can I interrupt?
Yes.
I think I was too quick on the trigger there. Abstentions act as no votes, and so it's a 3-3 tie at this point. We need to have
Yes.
a vote. Okay.
Yes.
It passes 4-1 with 2 abstentions. So.
Step up to the plate.
It's been a while, I haven't had to.
Hey, did it on purpose, so you can vote.
What you get paid the big bucks for, Mayor?
That's why I kind of looked that way to see if...
Yeah, no, I do.
Okay.
Okay, can I move forward with this really long sentence
Motion
again?
passed
And
on
all
the
these
last
numbers and letters? Okay. So you passed, okay. Motion to approve the first reading of City of Edgerton Ordinance 1709, amending Section 22.3045Y, outdoor premises beer gardens to address non-alcohol related outdoor gardens.
Second.
Question. Was this ordinance amending section in relation to anything, any incidences or problems we were having?
No problems. It was a request by a property owner who doesn't have a liquor license to have an outdoor eating area. And the regulations for outdoor eating areas really are very restrictive because they're trying to control consumption of alcohol outside. So as you might have noted in the modification of the ordinance, the standards for which securing the borders of an outside eating area that doesn't serve alcohol are removed. So, it isn't required that it be fenced and it be accessed only from the building. So it's lesser standards for non-alcohol outside eating areas.
Sounds good.
So it's trying to accommodate a business.
Sounds good. Am I allowed to ask which business?
It will apply, of course, to any business, but the business that has brought it to our attention is Craven Burgers.
Oh, okay.
And then I would note at your place also is a modification to that ordinance that adds language that recognizes other sections of the ordinance or the code book that talk about noise. This is an effort to assist the police department in enforcement. So in bold on this extra page that's sitting by you, it's simply a recognition of other ordinance sections that also deal with noise.
Okay, so do I need to add that also to include section 22.409
As modified and as presented.
as modified and presented?
Yes.
So who seconded that? I amended that.
Okay with a second to add that?
I thought Matt did.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought John did.
Okay.
I just talked.
Oh, okay. And speaking of seconds, is this one that needs to wait a time frame for a second reading, or can we waive the second reading so they can get going on their picnic tables?
It's your call. Waiving the second reading is your call.
Can I add that to my motion?
So the motion would be to waive the second reading
And waive
and
the
adopt.
second reading
And adopt.
and adopt. Thank you. And then Matt, are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Does everybody know what the motion is now?
Yes.
Roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Wellnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
What, 6-0, that passed?
Hey.
Contentious crowd this evening.
Okay, motion to approve planning document clarification for parcels on the south side of West Lawton Street.
Second.
Any discussion?
And the clarification, if adopted, would be the Plan Commission's recommendation was the comp plan designate the parcels on the south side of Lawton Street as duplex and townhouse residential.
Does that not include single families then?
Single families would be not prohibited there. They would be
Okay.
allowed.
But
There-
they're
that's
talking
what
about
exists.
future development, or if a house was to be torn down, then it could be replaced by single-family duplexes or multifamily?
They're all allowed in those districts, right?
Anyone else? Roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Wellnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Abstain.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Olson,
No.
Okay, motion passes 4-1 and 1.
Okay, motion to approve an extraterritorial certified survey map to modify 2 lot lines on East Mallwood Drive, Section 1, Town of Fulton.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Wellnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry, McIntyre,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with 1 abstention.
And motion to approve an extraterritorial land division on Oakwood Avenue, Section 36, Town of Albion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Wellnuts,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Motion passes.
That is it for plan.
Thank you. Anything from Parks?
I'll keep it very brief. We had our annual citywide parks tour by a van this year, so that was new and different. I'm happy to report all the parks are still there. They have not been lit on fire, which is always nice. It was just a very nice evening. We drove around, checked out the parks. We got to chat with some of the citizens in the community who happened to be there, ask them what do they want to see, what do they think about some of the projects that we have coming up, and overall it was a very positive experience. Nothing major to report.
Thank you. And you're back early.
Yeah.
Became unbearable?
Didn't want to miss the meeting.
I'll tell you about it sometime.
Mayor, alderperson, and staff reports. The only thing I have is it is Tobacco Days weekend this weekend, I guess. Summer's over, so here we go. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I do. I think it's the 42nd annual Tobacco Days or something. I've been to every single one. It's all our age and stuff. So that's a plus for Edgerton. With all the festivals we have and all the newer ones coming up, and hope they have longevity like the Tobacco Days one does too. And I just like to mention that on the next Parks agenda that with the Reinhardt development property at the end of Lawton Street, to at least consider what to do with that money in lieu of land at close to $7,000 to maybe try to do something in that parking lot over to make it even look better over there, you know? That's just a recommendation to look at that option. I think it's like $6,900 or something like that, or whatever it is. The money in lieu of land, we can use it for things around the city, for your development over there, Dan. And it'd be nice if the park committee look into what could we do with that money without setting too much of a precedence, what you mentioned last time too. It's really beautiful over there, you know, and to maybe fix up that parking lot or whatever would happen, maybe put some grass over it. I don't know. I don't have the slightest really.
I thought it was an excellent idea, Johnson made about a bridge, walking path.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that for a while.
Something.
A bridge, that walking path. Not a lot of people know about that walking path, but there's a walking path back there. And right now, those that are using it, they can't get over to the pond area.
I would be more than happy to have that discussion outside the meeting with anyone who wants to talk, for sure.
I think that's a good.
Yeah.
I agree.
Once in a while.
So
Actually, Ramon was idea.
I have. Are you done?
Yes.
I'd just like to thank Chief Klubertans and Lieutenant Varick. Invited me to do a ride-along with the lieutenant last week. Spent about 3.5 hours with him. Very educational, very informative. I really enjoyed the time, and I think should anybody here be given the same opportunity, I would jump at the chance, because I think it's really important that we see exactly what goes on and to speak with our police and our fire or whoever we have a chance to do it with, because there's a lot of things I didn't know and a lot of things I learned, and I truly think it was worthwhile. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet, Tim.
Question I have for you, were you in the front seat or in the back?
Of your own free will, too.
by the end
How
of
about
the
this last
ride
time?
along, he was in the back.
I was in the front seat.
Yeah.
I can explain real quick. It was a task force. We went for drunk driving and drug-related issues that we put together and focused just on Edgerton, so there were a lot of traffic stops and different scenarios. We just thought it would be a good idea. Some public safety could view what was going on behind these walls and maybe see what we're seeing. And Paul had a pretty good education.
I gotta tell you, he did say that, he told me it was extremely worthwhile to see, and said that everybody could benefit for that, and I would be interested in doing a ride-along if you would allow me.
I was going to ask, when do the rest of us get to go?
Well, I think
Oh,
you
yeah,
just show an interest if you're open to that, I guess, so.
And one other thing I'd like to mention is I'd like to thank Dan and his wife. I think you've done so many wonderful things for this community. I just have reservations about the one particular project on Lawton Street. But otherwise, I'd like to thank you for everything that you've done for this community. And I wish you good luck in the future.
And I have two real quick things. This would be for parks. I think it would be for the parks. Somebody had mentioned to me out at Racetrack that it would be nice to have recycle containers next to the trash containers.
They got the big beer thing right in the middle.
I like that idea. It's simple and good.
Because they said in the trash, you could see there's an awful lot of recycle stuff, and just, yeah, it just is in line with the whole recycling thing. So I just said that I would, talk to the parks, so I'm bringing that up, number one. Number two, in line with Tobacco Days, the city council will, we don't want the paper to put this in because we don't want too many people to know, just kidding.
Don't want them to arm themselves prior to the parade.
We don't want them to arm themselves or bring eggs to the parade. City council will be in the parade, we'll have a float in the parade. So for the first time in the Tobacco Days parade, so the first time, I don't know if ever, if city council has, but I think that it's something that we should do. Communities should see who all their people are and see the names. We'll have a banner with each name and which district they're in. And so be at the lineup at 10:30 Sunday morning, please.
Is a tractor pulling it or a truck?
No, we're going in style. There will be a vehicle pulling it.
And is
Just
Chris going
kidding.
to be the driver? I think we should have the mayor be the driver.
No, mayor will be the
Or
driver.
how about
We'll have a
Ramona?
non-council member be the driver, but
Ramona.
he will be in the vehicle or on the float. And we will be sure to have a step ladder for you. We will have chairs or something to sit on, everybody, so. We thought it would be fun to get the podium up on the float and he could stand behind the podium, but figured that'll move around too much.
Give a big crowd cheer.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second.
Well, you had enough meetings?
Thank you. All those in favor?